check if this thing is up. Okay. Okay. Good morning, and welcome back to our class. And let's wait for people to join us. I'm waiting for somebody to join. Okay, guys, welcome back. And we'll be starting the our class now. So, welcome back. Welcome back to Vision Arts Academy, and welcome back to our UI UX design. So, we'll continue from where we stopped. And last week we discussed about user research in full. We discussed about user research, types of user research based on some categories. We discussed about methods of user research, different methods, and how you can practice these methods. Discuss about types like quantitative and qualitative research, attitudinal and behavioral research, primary and secondary research, and the last one is evaluative and foundational research. So we talked about them in full. So if you are missing, you can go back and check the previous lesson to understand fully. So then the next day we talked about the methods of user research, different methods we have, the survey, user interview, usability testing. um, we talked about ethnographic research, diary studies, and so on. And we emphasized on how we can practice these different types of user research, the best practice you can use to have a user research. Talked about the processes you can take, processes of user research. We talked about the importance of user research, also known as how we can say the user research is making the organization profitable in terms of return on investment. So we talked about that and different types of different importance of user research. So today I said we'll be discussing about UX deliverable, user experience deliverables. So this is just like, oh sorry, let me check. Okay, I mean, so this is just like your information gathered from your user research. So user UX deliverables is like a concrete information gotten from your overall design thinking. You know, it is inside the design thinking we come up with the research, because research is under almost every stages of user research. On the empathize, we research. On the define, we research on it. On the ideate, we research on it. On the prototype, we still make some research. Even testing is part of research, and the typical example of testing is usability testing. So research is part of everything. So if we say that the overall result of your design thinking, it means that the overall results of your overall of your own process of your research, of your empathy, of everything. That's what we call UX deliverables. So in sometimes we can say UX deliverables are information that we gathered from our research, information about people, information about the features you want to incorporate in your design, information about everything. So under these UX deliverables, we have different types of it, different examples. So let's go straight to it. So the first one here is user persona. What does user persona means? User persona is a representation of a user group which is developed from collecting data on the behavior, goals, wants, needs, and other relevant information about users. So it's like a representation of what this user looks like, of your target audience. Sometimes it might not be just one person. You might just want to involve two or more people, but it is the representation of user group or user groups, which is developed from collecting data you gathered from your research about their behaviors, their goals, their wants, their needs, and other relevant information about the users. So other relevant information about the users that are going to be pointing out that you are referring to this particular user, you are referring to this particular group of people, right? So it's involved, it contains some things like user behaviors. Under user persona, you highlight the user behaviors on it, you highlight their goals, you highlight their frustration on it, and some other relevant information like their demographics, their names, their occupations, yeah, some things like that. So about just to make us know about this user. So and we have something we called proto-personas. These are personas created without research. You might just come up with a persona, just come up with, okay, this is the name of this person, this is the goal the person wants. Just like just come up with something that is not real. That means you did not conduct research about that person, right? That is called proto-persona. So sometimes in your project you might come up with a proto-persona, but if you are working on a research like your primary research, that you are getting the information from scratch, you are going to be working on normal user persona. So but if you are getting information from secondary research, like information from previous conducted research, from your stakeholders, people that have conducted this kind of research before, from your designers, previous designers, so you can come up with a proto persona from that. Okay, so user personas contains some things like your attitudinal or cognitive details, the attitudes of this individual, the attitudes of these people, the goals and motivations. Goals uh, in relation to your research, in relation to what you want to do, not just their goals. So their goals of using this particular product, that's what we're talking about, and motivations. So goals and motivations. Then we also have needs and wants, what they need and what they want, their behavioral details, demographic information. So demographic information like their names, their their occupation, that's what that falls into. And you can just have a quote about them. So everyday activities, their everyday activities, notable quotes, like I said, just like a quote about them. And device and internet usage, that's also part of it. So if you are working on a particular platform and your target audience use their mobile phones a lot, so that means the kind of uh, products you are going to be delivering will be based on mobile devices. Okay, so you need to take note of that too. So it is from your research you get all of this, your their attitudinal or cognitive details, goals and motivations, their needs and wants, behavioral details, demographic information, their everyday activities, notable codes, device and internet usage. So all of this is part of a user persona. So I'm going to be giving you an example of what a user persona looks like. So this is it. Let me see. Okay, so on this user persona, we have the name of this person. His name is James. So, and we have age, his occupation, and education also. So this is relating to the demographic information of this person. Okay, then we have like about the person, like a bio or something like that. So James is because when I came up with this persona, user persona, I was conducting a platform that can help combat or reduce the misinformation of fake news on the internet. So everything here will be relevant to the platform I'm working on. So James is a high school teacher who is passionate about teaching his students critical thinking and media literacy skills. He is concerned about the prevalence of fake news and its impact on the students and society. You can see some things like that. And his goals is to combat fake news by identifying, sharing accurate information with his students, right? And frustrations he has. So some things like this. This is an example of a user persona. So it could be a proto persona or a normal user persona conducted based on research. Okay, so that's how a user persona looks like. Sometimes you might also have some information, but the information that are very relevant, that are very important on this user persona is the goals and motivations, the frustrations of these users while using the product, and demographic informations. So those are very important. Sometimes you might not need to include their notable codes, everyday activities, or the device and internet usage. Okay, so those three are very important. Their goals and motivations, their frustrations, that is the pain points, the problem they are facing, and their demographics. Okay, so that's those three are very important. Then the next example we have here is user flows. So a user flow is like your tax flow. Okay, the flow of your of the taxes, the flow of the tax user perform, right? So a user flow is a chart or diagram showing the paths a user takes to complete a task. So it's like a gradual process a user take while uh, completing a specific task. So it starts with an entry point and ends with a final action or outcome. So it's also known as task flow or task analysis. So it comes in a way like maybe you're working on a banking platform, then maybe a website. So you want to and you want your user to perform a specific task, maybe investment or transferring money. Let's just use that, transfer money. So on your platform, when a user click on transfer, that when a user click on open app, that's the first task. Okay, that's the first step. I mean, then the user go to transfer, then click on transfer. It goes to choose a bank you want to transfer the money to. Then another one is paste your account number. Then another one is what? Click on transfer. Click on continue, something like that. Then you insert the amount. So those are step by step till you have transaction successful. Okay, that is the end. So the starting point is when the user open the app, click on transfer and the likes. So and the final point is what? Transaction successful. Okay, transaction completed. Anyone. So it starts with an entry point, then the action, then the outcome. So entry point, action, outcome. So why do we conduct a user flow? Why do we have a user flow? I mean, so it helps us to evaluate the products. Okay, it helps us to evaluate the product, and while doing that, it uncover pain points. It brings out some things that are not relevant, and some things that are given user at time. So and it helps us to improve usability. So if we work on the pain points, it helps to improve the usability of that platform. So these are representation of a user flow. We have a circle sphere that indicates the start or end. I'm going to be showing you how it looks like. Then we have the rectangle. So the rectangle indicates the process or steps or action a user take. Then we have kite shape. Kite shape tells us about the decision user is making in that section. So decision, it indicates a choice or decision for the user. Then we have the arrow. The arrow indicates the flow of the symbols, of different symbols. So this is how a user flow looks like. We have the first thing, like a sphere or rounded shape. Open app, then go to the splash screen, onboarding screen. You have to create an account if you don't have one. So that is a decision. But this is a what? Is a step, a process, right? Splash screen is a step, right? You see the splash screen, then you click on this. You see the onboarding. It tells you about what the user, what the interface looks like. Everything you need to, everything you are going to be seeing even before creating an account. Okay, then you make a decision here. Is it that you want to create an account? That is a kind of decision. So you indicate that with a kite. Okay, a step with a rectangle, then a kite with a decision, then step, then decision, and the like, till you finish the overall uh, task. So this is how a user flow looks like. The user flow illustrates the journey of the user within the product, outlining each step from the initial entry point to the final interaction. Okay, so it gives a what comprehensive overview of the entire user experience. So that's how a user flow looks like. We have all of this, so you need to take note of everything here whenever you are working on the words a user flow representation. Okay, from your research you already have your information, then you just want to put it in a task flow representation. So you use this shape, circle or sphere to indicate the start or end, rectangle to indicate the process or steps or action user takes. A kite shape is to indicate the choice or decision the user wants to take, and also arrow is to indicate the flow of the symbols. So that's what user flow looks like. Okay, then we also have another thing here, is a user stories. So a user story is a type of UX deliverable that describe the needs and goals of a particular user in a short format. Okay, so these things will help you come up with a kind of more understanding about the users. So it is typically written in the format: as a type of user, I want a specific action, so that this is the reason. Or as a type of user, I want to perform this action because of this reason. So this is an example. As a content creator, I want to see some analytics so that I can track high performing content. So in this kind of scenario, maybe the person maybe the designer is working on what's it called, a blog platform where you can read articles, you can read content or anything. So as a content creator, I want to see some analytics. So analytics of the blogs, the content I'm reading and everything, so that I can track high performing content. Or the person is the one that is publishing his or her content on that app, on that platform. So you'll be able to see his high performing content, the one that people are reading, one that people are taking. So the person wants a dashboard. This is what he's talking about. So a dashboard that can show some analytics. So that's an example of a user story. Okay, as a particular person, as a type of user, I want to this particular action so that this particular reason can be met. Okay, so that's what a user story looks like. This is it. So when I was working on this, I was working on a fake news combating app. So this is how the user story will look like. So as a high school teacher, I want to use fake news combating app to identify and share accurate information with my students and community. You can see the reason is there, the type of user is there, and the action is also there. So this is another example, and this is gotten from my research. Even you can get this from your user persona, but the user persona too is coming from your research. So this is how user stories looks like. So you just have to have this at the back of your mind. As a content creator, as a user type, I want to perform this action so that this reason can be met because of this reason. Okay, so that's how a user story look like. Then we also have another one. These are examples of UX deliverables. Another one is user scenarios. So this is a highly descriptive narrative detailing a user's engagement with a product or service within a particular context. So user scenarios, unlike the user story, it is very broad. Okay, so it's talks about the overall user engagement with that app, with that product. So it's a description of a task or activity that user is required to address or complete, detailing times, places, and key actors with users' motivations, circumstances, the user, the decision making as they interact with the what, with that product. So a user scenario is very broad, like I said. Okay, so it describes the situation that the what, that the user is taking, the overall engagement of that user with that product. Okay, so it's just like you writing a narrative essay about the user. So sometimes designers don't really include these user scenarios in their case studies. Most of people don't really use it. So if you are working on user persona, user stories, user flow, those are enough. Okay, so and we still have some more. This one is even more important. It is customer journey map or user journey map, anyone. So it is about the steps. Okay, it is about it's a user takes, a step the user takes, and also visualizes their feelings and emotions and pain points, moments of delight, and customer insight and feedback. So a customer journey map is very very broad because it talks about the users, the overall user engagement. It visualizes their feelings in one side, their emotions in one side, frustrations in one side, that's the pain points. Okay, and insights you got from that from that research. So the elements of user customer journey map include the persona. It talks about the user a bit. Okay, then the scenarios and expectations. It talks about the situation that the journey map addresses. Okay, the overall users engagement with that steps, the steps user takes, that's talking about the user flow. It's just a part of the user flow. So a customer journey map is very very broad because it involves almost all other UX deliverables. You can see we have persona here, we have scenarios here, user scenarios, we have the steps that's talking about the user flow, actions, thoughts, and emotions. Okay, and we also have the channels. The channels is the medium the user take to interact with that product. Like, okay, did I use my mobile phone? Did I use my did I use a website or a physical store or anything? So how they interact with that, the medium at which they use to interact with that product. And we also have touch points. Okay, touch points is the, you know what touch points is the contact with the product, the user contact with that product. Okay, that's a touch point. So their contact with that interface, the way they interact with it, and also insights and opportunities. You've conducted a research, you've gotten so many information, then what are the insights, the feedback you got? So everything here is within a customer journey map. So it's a kind of a visualization of the overall user experience with your product. So this is a very very important UX deliverable also in the words in a while conducting your design thinking. Okay, in your design. So the customer journey map is very very important because it helps you while working on user persona, user scenario, user stories. Under the customer journey map, you already have everything. Sometimes it might not be as broad as other each sections. Okay, because on this customer journey map, when you are talking about the persona, you might not be talking about the person's demographics and some things like that. Okay, but on the user persona, you're going to be highlighting it. But under customer journey map, you have insight about that too. The persona, scenarios, steps, actions, emotions, the insights and opportunities you got. Then here we also have information architecture. What does information architecture talks about? Information architecture is the practice of organizing information to be findable, understandable, and clear. Okay, so information architecture is very crucial because it helps you section all the features you are going to be having on your platform. That's what information architecture talks about. Before you now use that information to come up with your user flow, with your step-by-step actions, step-by-step experience. Okay, so information architecture is also known as IA. It helps to organize information, and methods by which you can get this information architecture done is, number one is card sorting, tree testing, and usability testing. So card sorting, let's talk about that a bit. Card sorting is like a situation whereby you have some features, okay, you have some features, and you also have some information that are related to each features. Then you give it out to your users to help you with section everything, to help you organize them under each section. So card sorting is like a situation whereby you send out cards that contain information to your users and tell the user to help you organize them in the manner they understand, in the manner they want, right? So that's what card sorting looks like. So when you conduct a card sorting, you'll be able to figure out this information are related, these ones are related, these ones are not related, and so on. Then we have the tree testing. The tree testing is like the opposite of the card sorting, whereby you have different sections, okay, different under categories. Like you already have your categories, like your home sections, maybe you are working on a banking platform, fintech platform, or any banking platform. You have your what's it called, your transfer sections, your card sections, your profile sections. Those are what the normal categories. Then you also have some other sections, some other categories there, information that are going to be on each page, on each section. Then that is what you now give out. You section all those information, right? All those under categories. Then you now give out your main categories to your users, like your home, your transfer, your card, and the likes. Then you ask the user to help you section everything in the way they understand, in the manner they understand. So it's just like the opposite of card sorting, but they are very, very related. Also, we have usability testing. Usability, you can also get to organize your information on usability testing. Why conduct usability testing? Okay, so we said last week that usability testing is a kind of research where you conducted it with the users that help you test your design, your high prototype, your high fidelity prototype before you launch it, before you get to hand over it to the developers. Okay, so with that you can also get information organized. Okay, so this is an example of what an information architecture looks like. So here we have the home. So under the home we have register. This is a website. Okay, so we have register, we have browse, we have about, we have goals, you have events, newsletters, and contacts. You can see all of this. There are also some sections, but they are under the home page. Okay, so under this register, we have sign up or log in as a student or as an admin. Everything is there. Okay, so we also have events. Under the events, we have the name, the date and time, the location. Everything is here. So this is an example of a what? Information architecture. Before you can proceed with your user flow, like I said earlier, you need this information architecture first, because it is under this home page. If you want to work on, okay, the specific goal of this platform is for users to get information, to get materials. Is for students to get materials, what's it called, the materials they need, manuals and the likes. So it is under here you can now come up with your user flow. Okay, when a user click on the home page, go to browse, then under browse you see some things like, where is it, oh, there's a mistake, there's a mess up here. So under browse you see some things like, okay, information that I need. You choose your department, you choose your level, so that they will be able to filter the information that will align with what you need. Okay, so that's what a user flow will look like. But without this, you can't get that done. Okay, so information architecture helps you to what? Organize your information to be findable and understandable. Okay, it helps you to what? To get all that done by these methods: card sorting, tree testing, usability testing. So this concept is very, very important. Some questions to look out for in your research. So the first thing is, what is users' motivations? What are the challenges? What challenges do they face? So if you are working on a particular product, your questions you want to ask must align with this thing: the users' motivations, challenges they face. Okay, where and how, when do they interact with solutions? You can also ask some things related to what? Timing. How do they feel at each step in their journey? So this kind of question can come up in a usability testing. Okay, when you have already come up with the design, your high fidelity prototype, send it out to your users to help you conduct a testing with it. Okay, so you can ask this kind of question there: how do they feel at each step in their journey? Did they feel surprised, shocked about some things they are saying there, or did they feel relatable to it? Okay, so this kind of questions you need to look out for in your research. What is users' motivations? What challenges do they face? Where, how, and when do they interact with solutions? So questions like this. So guys, before we proceed, do you have any question? Please drop your question in the comment section, because we are going to be working on our previous research. Okay, we are going to be working on the Figma file right now. So drop your question in the comment section, please. I'm still waiting for question. Before we proceed to the it seems there is no question, so I'm not hearing anything. Okay, can proceed then. Okay, so I think it's last week or last 2 weeks, we talked about the design thinking process. So the stages of design thinking process, and I said that design thinking process is it attached with the overall steps you take in your design. Okay, so it's the overall design process. So now we've come up to understand how we can section this particular topic under our stages of design thinking. So this is the goal of this project is to reducing the food waste through a smart refrigerator. Design a smart refrigerator that tracks food inventory, expiration dates, and suggests recipes using ingredients that are about to expire. Okay, so that means we are working on a platform that can help us achieve this goal. So the first thing is to come up with, we already have the goal, right? And we have some assumptions. So some kind of things, some kind of features we can have on that platform. So I highlighted some here. A built-in barcode that can identify each item and its expiration date. So a reminder that can notify users of the expiration date of any items and the like. So this is just a random information, but based on our research, I think we are going to be able to figure out more based on the research. So the thing is, we are going to be sectioning the research into two. I want us to conduct a quantitative and a qualitative research. So an example of the quantitative research we are going to be conducting is our user flow. Our user survey research. Okay, so let's just have something like this. You have the quantitative research. As our user survey. Then we have the qualitative as our user interview. Let me zoom. Okay, so this is what we want to conduct. So then, but before we go into it, we should have questions that we want to ask users. Okay, so this is where this tool comes in, the ChatGPT tool comes in. Okay, come in. So ChatGPT can help you come up with questions that are very, very relatable to what you want to do. The first thing to do is to go to your ChatGPT, if you know how to use it very well, or some other AI tools. Okay, so comment please. So this is how the user the ChatGPT looks like. So if you are working on a particular platform that you need what's it called, questions, right? So just tell your ChatGPT to give you questions that are very related to that. So on a platform that can help user use the food waste by creating a smart refrigerator. Inform them about each item's expiration dates, provide questions for my research. Okay, let's see. Okay, then these are kind of very useful questions. So the first one here is, what are the common reasons for food waste in household? How do individuals currently manage and keep track of their food items? So it's giving us some idea on how our question should be structured. Okay, on how on what our question should focus on. What are the key pain points or challenges users face in reducing food waste? That's another one. So that's about user needs and habits. So technology and features. What existing technology can be integrated into smart refrigerator to monitor food freshness and expiration dates? Are there any emerging technologies like RF and so on? So data and inventory management. How can refrigerator keep track items on user inventory? So what we are working on, based on my own understanding and experience, what we are working on is not just um, we are not working on coming up with with a refrigerator or anything like that. What we are doing is just to build uh, an in-app barcode, okay, where whenever a user buy a food item, they can scan it there, and what it will keep the record that it will keep the record of that item expiration dates and other details about the item. So then it will keep getting telling users about when the this thing will expire. Okay, maybe some few weeks, some few months before the user uses. So whenever a user buy any product, it will go on that. The user will go on that app and scan that and some other information and some other features. But that is the main goal. Okay, so because nowadays people are wasting food, and there are some charity out there, as there are some orphanages out there, there are some people that are not getting to eat any food. Okay, so a way we can work on that, a way we can solve that problem. So let me see, what is the potential economic impact? No, okay, no. Okay, so now let's ask for survey questions. Okay, uh, let's see. It's generating. Oh, my network. I think it's back. Okay. Now here we have demographics, information about demographic, about the username and everything. Okay, so the gender and where do they live, urban area or rural area. So then we also have about food management habits. So how often do you find yourself throwing away food data? So we are going to be asking questions that are going to be familiarizing the user about this platform. Okay, this is a typical example of that. What are the primary reasons for food waste in your household? So You have these two. Then this is what we want to work on. Okay, so which of the following features would you find most useful in a smart refrigerator designed to reduce food waste? So automated expiration dates, this is exactly what we need. And mobile app notifications, these are very very important. Integration with grocery delivery services, okay, voice control, virtual assistants, and some other recipe suggestion. Yes, this one is also a typical example. You can see it's based on this uh, questions that I'm getting to know more information that can be possible. So, how concerned are you about the security and privacy of data collected by a smart refrigerator? Are you willing to manually input information about food items without barcodes? So, we can also ask this kind of question. That's another option there. So, if user does not want to use the barcode, can input the information. Okay, so about the user interface and usability, so what kind of app do they want to use? Food safety and quality, how important is it for the smart refrigerator to, okay, we already have some information here. Maybe contact it for further follow. Okay, that's unnecessary. So I can, okay, about the demographics, we have that first. Mm. Okay, let me just leave it this way. Demographics, the name, email, and where do they live. Uh, so then we also have information about now food management habits. So how often do you, so this is an example. So under this we have the, okay, comment. What other question there? What are the primary reasons for food waste in your household? Okay. Then what other question under that section? Do you currently use any tool or method to track food waste? If so, please describe. Okay, these are questions under food management habits. Then we also have the smart refrigerator features. Okay. Then questions under that. Would you be interested? First thing is to ask them, would they be interested in that kind of features, smart refrigerator, so that can track expiration dates. What other question? Which of the following features would you find most useful in a smart refrigerator design? So I said you should make some findings on it. So I'm still going to coming back to that to make some findings on this particular topic. I don't think this question is really required. Okay, so and then that's about the smart refrigerator features. Then about the usability, user interface and usability. Okay, I don't think we really need this. How user friendly should be interface to, we don't really need this one. So let's move to food safety and quality. Okay, so this is another tip. Okay, when our smart refrigerator is providing information on how to properly store different food items to maximize the what freshness and safety. So that's another information on that. So we are going to be taking note of everything here. I think that's under food safety and quality. Okay. Then what else? Do we still have anything under this food safety and quality? Hope you guys can see here. Okay, that's about that. And additional comments. So this is very, very important. Okay, do you have any additional comments or suggestion? So this is very, very important. Okay, so this is what our question will look like. So that means under here, under these questions, you've been able to get uh the first thing here about the demographic. Okay, nothing much here. What are the primary reasons for food waste in your household? So let me go back to this. Okay, forgetting about food. Okay, and also, do you currently use any tool or method to track expiration dates? Okay, that means that is where our barcode comes in. Okay, and a reminder, kind of reminder. So would you be interested in the F's? Okay, which of the following features would you find most useful in a smart refrigerator design? Okay, let's go back to that. Now, barcode. Okay, recipe suggestions based on inventory. So that is, we are going to be having that under key features. Based on what? I'll find it. Okay, it's that okay, recipe suggestion based on inventory. If you are seeing what I'm doing, please. Then integration with grocery delivery services. We are not be working on that. Okay, so that's about some features. Which of the food? Okay, we're talking about it. Are you willing to or manually? That means users can also input the information about the the food item without using barcodes. So that's another. Would you like to? Would you like the smart refrigerator to provide information on how to properly store different food items to maximize freshness? That means we should have like what's it called? What can I call this? Uh, Suggestion section on food. Okay, on how to store food storage to maximize the food safety. Okay, so that's another tip gotten from this ChatGPT. Then what other thing? Okay, so food freshness and safety. So that means these are the common features we are going to be working on. Okay, so what do we do next? We already have our survey questions, which we can also use in the survey, the user interview. Then we have the key features, the main goal that we want to achieve. Okay, so what we do next is to work on to conduct the study. And how do we conduct the study? We go on with the what? With the tool we want to use. So as for this user survey, I told you that I use Google Form mostly. So I use Google Form. What you just need to do is open your Google Form on your Chrome. Go to Chrome. I'm still communicating. So open your Google form here. Okay, so then you can create a new one. So I have different forms here. So then you have your topic, the topic of the kind of project you are working on. So it's smart refrigerator. Sorry about that. Refrigerator. The smart food refrigerator. Just as like that. So you can bold it if you like. So this is where you now have the description of that platform. So let's just see what we can put there. Okay, let's have this. Let's have something like this. You can touch it up. So platform. Reduce the food waste through a smart refrigerator that can track food inventory restoration and suggest recipe using ingredients that can advance to what? Expire. So let's just write something that can So let them know that all their information is what's confidential and what's secured. So something like this. I don't know what's wrong with this. Okay, so this is about the description. Then you move on to the question, different questions you want to put in there. So what we have here, we talked about the demographics, the name, the email, and where do they live. So you can just ask your name. What's your name? Your name. Then that's a short answer and is also required. So that means if a user does not answer this question, the user will not be able to submit the form. Okay, so it is a required question. What is your name? Then you can now come here and add another question. So that's the first question there. Their email address. So I'm thinking that is not necessary. Or maybe if you want to contact the user again, let's just have it. So their email address, we might not make it required because some users might not want to include their email address. Then we have, so the next question is where do they live? So we are not after the location, okay? We just need multiple questions. Maybe they live in what urban area. Okay, so can come here and add another option. Suburban, we also have suburban area, and we have rural area. Okay, so we need to make this a required question because we need that too. So it depends. Okay, so the next thing, that means we've been able to come up with the demographic questions. Okay, so we move on to the what's next is the food management habits. Okay, how often do you find yourself throwing away food that has gone bad or expired? So just to get them familiarized with what we are working on. So, and here we have the options. So we can just come here, we have the rarely, occasionally, frequently, and so on. So you have something similar here, so we can just add all of this. Okay, so because this form will generate some questions based on the answer you have, the questions you have, it will generate some options based on the questions you have here. Okay, so you can make this required. Then we move on to the next. So in a situation whereby you want to work on the user interview, these are the questions you are going to be asked to. Okay, so the next question is, what are the primary reasons for food waste in your household? Sorry. So let's go back to our ChatGPT and take a look. What are the primary reasons? So forgetting about food items in the fridge, misjudging food freshness, some other distance. So let's input that. Let me just copy and paste. Okay, so other one is what? Misjudging food freshness. User doesn't know about food freshness sometimes, and that result in wasting foods. So unclear expiration date, so sometimes that is also part of it. Then what next? Overbuying groceries. Let's take note of that too. Then order, they can specify. So let me add something like that here. So they can specify. Okay. And is a required question. So this is a checkbox, because why is a checkbox is that user can happen to have all of this experience: overbuying, misjudging food freshness, everything. So user can click on everything, and if the user has another information to add, they can add it here under the order. Okay, so they can choose everything, and it's a required question. So what is the next question here? Is the what's it called? Do you currently use any tool or method to track the expiration dates? Okay. So this is a kind of short question. Please describe. Or let's have something like if not, coming. If not, just write to it. Okay, so something like this. Some user does not even have, and it must be a required question. So if they don't have, they can just write name there. They don't have any tool that can help them track food, especially in the rural area. So then what's next is about the smart refrigerator. That's where the main features is, right? So would you be interested in a smart refrigerator that helps reduce food waste by tracking the expiration dates or items? So here you can just ask questions like, so it's like yes or no, but I said we shouldn't be having a yes or no question. So you can just have something like I'm interested. No. Okay, so it's a required question. Then what's the next thing is about which of the following features would you find most useful? Okay, so let's go back to and pick those features. So the features we want to work on is automated expiration tracking. We are working on this. Then we also have mobile app notification to tell the user about whenever anything is about to expire or anything. Okay, so on fridge display for alerts, barcode or scanning for entry. This is very, very important. Okay, so then we also have integration with no, not that. Recipe suggestion. This is very, very important. We are working on this because these are part of our key features. Okay, so and we don't want to include something that we are not going to be working on. Okay, so okay, which of the following? So, and user can add order. So let's make it required, just to know the one that has more priority. We are working on everything, but just to know the one that has more priority. Okay, so then let's go back to our Figma to check for the next question. So are you willing to manually input information about the food waste without barcodes? You can also ask that kind of question, because some people don't even know how to use that. So let's see here. So let's just have something like this. That's best for me. And here I prefer the barcode features. So okay, so that's also a required question. And what's the next question here is, okay, then the food safety and quality, that's the next thing. Would you like to would you like the smart refrigerator to provide information on how to properly store different food items? This is very, very important. Okay, we can also have some options here, like maybe. Okay, that's another understand. So okay, and no, it's not necessary. Maybe. So then we have the last question. So this question, do you have anything else? Do you have any other comments? It is very important, because this is where you give the room, especially when you are in when you are conducting a survey like this. This is where you give users the room to come up with any idea. So, and we usually don't make it required. Okay, so these are the questions we have here. So the first question is to know about the username, the demographic, the email address, which that is not required. So where do they live, the and what now this, how often do you always throw away what food that has gone expired? Just to know about that. So what are the primary reasons for food waste in your household? And what do you currently use any tool or method to track the expiration date? That's also a required question, but user can just write nil, because so many users does not have. So would you be interested in a smart refrigerator that helps reduce food waste by tracking the what expiration date of an item? So these questions are what we are going to be sending out. So let me make this smart food refrigerator. Okay, so these are questions that we are going to be sending out, and this is where we get the responses of this question, because we have not even sent it out and nobody has attended to it. There's no response here, and we can send it to a sheet, a spreadsheet. Okay, so Now this is what we are going to be sending out, and we are going to be coming here to review the response. Okay, so we can copy the link from here. I will drop the link on the group so that we can share it. Okay, so what I want you to do now is to use these questions the way I asked to conduct a user interview. Well, we are going to be talking about that later, but that is what you are going to be working on, because we've been able to come up with, to structure the user survey, and we've been able to get that done. What next is to send it out to user. So we have this ready for the user interview. So the user interview, we've talked about how you can conduct it last week. You can use a Zoom or what, or some other video recording tools, just to have a one-on-one conversation with that user. Or rather, if you have the user with you, you can conduct a physical interview too. Okay, so just be familiarized with the best practices you can use to come up with that. Okay, so I think what next now is to send out the surveys to users and come back here to review the responses. So I think tomorrow might not be enough to synthesize the responses we got, and even tomorrow we might not be able to get more information, so we'll be pending that survey till next week, and also the user interview to next week. So you only have 1 week for that user interview. So if you are able to get the insights, so you are going to be synthesizing the information we gathered from the surveys and the interview together to come up with with our IA, with our information architecture. Then we proceed to order US deliverables. Okay, so is there any question, please? Is there any question? Sorry. Okay, all your information is insurance. Oh, sorry. Please, where do you live? Sorry. Where do you live? How often do you find? Okay. So what are the primary reasons for food waste? Okay, and is a required question. Okay, so is there any question? Shit. Okay, I think we need to add some description to the link to give a little details. Yeah, before sharing it with you, I'm going to be adding that. Okay, what other thing? So we've just practicalized how we can conduct our research right now. Okay, so how we can conduct especially user survey, we've just practicalized it, so it's as simple as that. But the thing is, sometimes before the development of the ChatGPT, you have to come up with all of these questions. Okay, so but with the help of ChatGPT, you've been able to get that done in just few minutes. Okay, so That's how easy it is. It's not going to be taking your job, but it's going to be make it more easier for you. So you've got to understand everything, and from that ChatGPT, you've got to visualize some other information that we did not even think about. So that's part of it. And also, after this research, you see that some information are going to be gathered also, because users are going to be what giving us other information, and you know your target audience, right? Normally everybody can fill this form. Everybody, almost everybody can fill this kind of form, okay, especially adults. So you can send it to any adults you have around you. So I'll be sharing the little description about that, okay, and we can also use this one too, okay. So I will share that with you on the go. So any question now? Before we round up, any question before we round up? Okay, about the, you said, is this the same view we are going to upload the information on our portfolio? No, 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 no. We are going to be working on that, because based on the responses you've gathered, okay, and the insights under your case study or your portfolio, you can screenshot the responses you gathered, okay. So sometimes you might want to include some relevant questions you ask. That is also part of it. So it depends on how you can design that, and that's why you're what, a UI UX designer. So how you can design it, so it depends, okay. So but don't worry, when we get to the case study, you'll be able to get a view on how you can organize all the information in your design process, everything there, how you can come up with it in your case study. So don't worry, we are going to be talking about it, okay. Understood. Is there any other question, please, before we round up? And tomorrow, what's tomorrow's topic? I think we should go into UI fully tomorrow. Yes. We should start with our UI, user interface design. So we've been discussing about UX, we've been discussing about research and everything. So tomorrow, hopefully, we should start with introduction to user interface design. Okay, so just prepare for that. But for now, you have you have to send out this link to people to help us fill out this form. Okay, let me check. Is there another question? Okay, there's no question for now. So that means we are going to be ending the class. You can go over and over to the review this US Deliverables slide to understand it better. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.